Sometimes I have night terrors myself. I know it sounds crazy that I would sleep for a living and I have night terrors, but I go through that pain and I keep on competing because I'm a champion. Got my sports start in baseball. I did rugby, tried football, I tried soccer. None of the coaches ever really wanted me around. It was always, somebody yelling at this, do that. And it wasn't really my style. He was on the end of the bench one time and fell asleep. Coach told me to try something new. On my walk home, I actually saw a flyer about competitive sleeping, so I thought I'd give it a shot.
I was young when I started out this. You're in your prime for a good period of time, and sometimes you're too young, you got too much energy, When you get too old, you got too many things to worry about. To start the training, to relax myself, to relax the energies I had, I did breathing, deep breaths. Deep breaths until you can regulate your breathing.
Time. 2:20.
To help, of course, you run, cardiovascular exercise, expands the lungs.
Traditionally, it was always just, come in, they'd lay everybody down in their own separate room, or separate each bed by a partition or something, so you'd have your little privacy if you needed it. And they would just make an announcement or ring a bell or a buzzer or something to that nature, and you'd have a certain amount of time to fall asleep.
Did my first 5 to 10 possibly competitions locally, no pay, no endorsements. I don't know what they got a problem about this sport, but we don't get much around here. As I started going farther up, I started getting paid small amounts. Meanwhile, Gunslinger, he had everything given to him, his North Face jackets, all this other kind of things. He didn't have to work, he had time to train.
I don't know, these guys now taking, eating, staying up late, passing out. Someone can go eat an entire turkey, which isn't illegal, right? It's not an unnatural drug that helps you sleep. It's just amping your body with the tryptophan. And they can become morbidly obese to the point of being an invalid, not being able to move, and they can sleep.
You take a look at society today. Children, they're bigger. Child obesity is huge now. No one walks anymore. Everyone drives or, rides around. People are playing video games, just sitting around watching TV. I mean, if we can get this televised or publicized somehow, I think it'd reach a bigger audience, especially youths.
During training, I like to eat, moderate meals, maybe 5 or 6 meals a day. When I'm coming up to the match, when I'm getting done with my training, I like to eat a lot. I eat huge meals. Before I go to sleep, I eat huge meals. Spaghetti, different kinds of pastas, pizza.
What you and I would eat in a day, he would eat in one sitting before he goes to sleep. It's intense for me because I do a lot of the cooking. His favorite are turkey brats cooked in beer, because I think that gets him to sleep the best, the combination. But it's actually a light beer with not a lot of alcohol. Contrary to what many people believe, he's not using alcohol to help himself get to sleep.
My manager knows the rules. I don't drink during competition. It's not illegal to have a White Russian during training. I'm talking to you right now. This is an interview. This isn't a competition. If you want me to put it down and you want to sleep right now, let's go. This isn't competition.
There's a guy named Chuck Morsley. Biggest head you've ever seen. They call him Big Head Morsley. He was more of a philosopher than anything else. He founded the sport. He could keep you going for hours in his fascinations and his ideas, right? And he'd sit like this, and he'd talk to you. And you had this impression of him that if you weren't going to listen to him, you better get the fuck out of there. Because he knew what he was talking about. And he'd lean in like this, right? He also never wore hard shoes. I remember listening to him talk about why he enjoyed the sport, why he invented it, right? There's an area between asleep and awake where you might have an idea that's so brilliant, but you fall back asleep and you forget it. Or you might have a dream and you remember it, and you can wake yourself up and you continue to remember it. And he was fascinated by this period of being asleep and awake.
To me, it's just a competition that I'm winning, and that's all it is. Gunslinger, he tries his mental preparations and his body, his physical preparations together, tries to get them in sync with each other. I prefer to tune my body off, turn it off completely when I'm sleeping. When I go to sleep, when I'm competing, I don't want to see anything. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to smell it. I don't want to taste it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want anything. I want to completely shut my body off. I want to turn it off, and that's how I win. One time, I was so turned off, I actually defecated in my pants, but I won.